Winning again, so...
Winning again.
Which is great to see.
That man has won everything, Steve.
Unbelievable. Trophy cabinet. If it ended today for him, he's going to retire a happy guy. But, no, yeah, another great tournament for him. Same thing with Paul. It was a bit late for me. I was either in Germany and then it was like, you know, bedtime. But Alvarez is outstanding. And like you say, the trophy count and the medals that lad's got at such an early age is unbelievable.
Look at that picture there, Copa America 2024, obviously after winning the World Cup and then everything that he won with Manchester City as well. And we might get the chance to watch him in the Olympics as well.
Olympics next, yeah.
Yeah, which I just wouldn't bet against this man winning the Olympics right now. So, been a lot of football over the summer to keep us going. But like you said, Big Steve, it's the proper stuff. The proper stuff is back because pre-season has started. City's first pre-season game is tomorrow against Celtic. We will be here, and of course you can watch that live on City Plus as well. It's a weird one though, Paul, in terms of the fact that we are literally, 10 days after the end of the Euros and the end of Copa America. We know that a lot of the players most of the players that were playing in the tournaments, they're not on this trip yet. Kovacic and Gvardiol will join them in New York, but apart from that, the others are resting or taking a well-deserved break. So what's it like, do you think, for the players? It's 10 days after the end of the Euros, so how will that have affected anything, the preparation?
I don't think it'll affect the preparation. It can be a little bit disruptive, but obviously speaking about City, the guys are used to it now. You know, every second year, it's the Euros, it's the World Cup, even the players like Bernardo Silva won the Nations League, didn't he, playing through the summer as well. So they're used to it, and they're used to staggering coming back as well. But what it does do, it gives an unbelievable opportunity to the young kids that are coming in to go away and experience. And a lot of the kids that are there now would have trained sporadically with the first team or here, but it's completely different going away pre-season. You know, when you're 24/7, you're with your teammates for, I think it's 2.5 weeks they're away as well. And it's a great experience for them to train. You know, we've got obviously Erling's there, Jack's there, Ederson's there, so that's Calvin Phillips. There's a lot of experienced players there, so the learning experience they'll get for that will be invaluable. But it also gives them a chance to impress the management and the coaching staff as well.
Yeah, because they're getting, like you say, 2.5 weeks up close and personal with Pep and with all the coaching staff, a training alongside those, you know, Jack and Erling and those world-class players that you've said. It seems to be, Steve, a really incredible opportunity for those young players that have gone on the tour.
Yeah, it's fantastic. And like you say, we're used to it now with City, with the players getting to the later stages of tournaments and not having a full squad, shall we say. But the opportunity for these young lads in this tournament is unbelievable. And we've seen it before. There's always one or two that start to shine and go under the radar. And then we know with Pep that he's not frightened to pick them in games. Like we've seen Rico Lewis come through and people like that. I've got my eye on one or two of them out there who I've seen in the EDS before, and I'm just hoping that they can really shine out there. And they're up against good opposition and teams that are probably a little bit further down the line in preparation than us. So the games are going to be intense. They're going to be fast. It's going to be a really good test for some of them. And like you say, I'm hoping that one or two can shine.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to picking your brain a bit because I know you watch a lot of the EDS football, but of course some of the players that are in the squad as well are players that were out on loan last season that have come back as well. So we'll get into that a little bit later, and we're looking forward to picking your brains on that. But it does seem like an incredible opportunity for these young players. Also an incredible opportunity for some of the players that were on the fringes of the first team. One in particular who scored, I think we all said, our favourite goal, or one of our favourite goals of last season. Of course, Oscar Bob is at the pre-season tour. We can hear from him now. He's been doing the press conference.
Hi, Oscar. You've got there's a lot of the senior players aren't here, so is this a good chance for you to catch the eye of the manager?
Yeah, I think so. It's a great opportunity, of course. Just a couple of senior players, and I think the manager's watching, so we're all excited.
And what do you personally hope for from the new season? You got a little taste of it last season. You want more matches, presumably.
Yeah, I think I enjoyed last season a lot, but this season, obviously, I want to play more, play a bigger part. So yeah.
As Martin said, Oscar, it was a big breakthrough year for you last year, particularly with the goal at Newcastle. How do you go from being like a breakout player to then integrating yourself more in the squad and playing more games?
So I think what I look at is the players in my position, like say Bernardo or Phil, Jack maybe. I mean, they're consistent every training session, every game, and I know I can work a lot and become a lot better at that. So yeah, I just think it's about constantly raising my level and being more consistent.
Is there something to be said for being quite patient as well? Because a lot of young players are very, very keen to play every week, so they go and look for moves elsewhere, but it seems like you're very settled where you are.
Yeah, I think playing for this manager has always been a dream, and I mean, if I have to wait a bit longer to eventually get more playing time, I don't mind.
Hi, Oscar. You mentioned Phil there. Is he someone you kind of look at the way he came into the City team and kind of played a few games one season and then built up on that? Is that kind of the model you're looking at going, well, if he can do it, I can definitely break into being a regular starter soon?
Yeah, I think obviously with Phil's talent, there was no question he was going to break through. But yeah, I do look at him. I think he took some time, and people were always saying that he should go somewhere, try and get more playing time, but he waited, and of course it paid off, so yeah.
Has there been any point where you've thought, maybe I do need to go elsewhere, or you've always thought, do you know what, I'm at the right place and I can do this?
No, of course, there's been times where I've thought it might be very hard, but as soon as I got the smallest opportunity, I thought there's no other options really.
It looks like you're really just enjoying every chance you get.
Yeah, 100%.
Thanks.
To Joe?
Hi, Oscar. You mentioned the players also in your position. Now you've got Savinho as well. What do you expect he's going to bring to the team?
Who?
Savinho.
Oh, Savinho. No, of course, he had a great season at Girona, and yeah, I remember, I think it was a year and a half ago, he was doing rehab at City. I spoke to him a bit then, and then obviously he went to Girona and was flying from the start. So I've been watching him. He's a great player, can go past anyone, goals, assists, he has everything, so I think he's a great addition.
Do you relish that competition?
What?
Do you enjoy that competition?
Yeah, I think being at City, there's always going to be competition, and just have to embrace it, yeah.
Just at the back there, please, Senfield. Just the guy with the cap, please. Sorry. Just at the very back, please.
Thanks so much for coming here and for being here and for answering these questions. How do you enjoy the opportunity of playing in a new area, a new environment, taking it all in, the culture, the adoring fans that wouldn't normally get the chance to see you play, but also, like you said, prepare for an upcoming season that with a chance to make more history?
Yeah, so I think of course it's great to see the passionate fans. I mean, I think the club has become so big. It's great to see how many fans there are, even out here. So, new environment, I think everyone's very excited to play these games here. And, yeah, we've been welcomed very nicely.
Kind of following up on that, what are your impressions of North Carolina so far, and what do you know about, just the school, the University of North Carolina, where you're going to be playing?
So, of course, I know there's a lot of sports here, maybe not as much football, but yeah, I know it's like Michael Jordan went to university here, of course, I know that. And yeah, I know the fans seem very passionate. I don't know if it's just sport in general, but no, people seem very nice, and yeah, looking forward to it.
Who's got the correct shade of blue, you or UNC?
Oh, so UNC is a bit lighter, no?
I would say a touch. It's hard to say. Yeah. They're known as Carolina blue. I don't know. I'm not sure what Manchester City calls their blue.
No, I don't know. I think I like City. Yeah.
It'll work out though, regardless. The local fans can just wear their UNC gear.
Yeah, 100%.
Support. Cool. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Any more guys? Yeah, just at the back, please.
Thank you for coming to North Carolina. The Latino community is really fans for Manchester City.
Yeah.
Do you want to say something for the Latino community? And I don't know if you speak Spanish or not, but you can say in Spanish or in English, doesn't matter.
No, my Spanish isn't great, but yeah, it's great to see. I seen that the Copa America was or in the US a few weeks ago, and I seen that the fans were very passionate and following it very tightly. So it's great to see. Yeah.
Good. Okay. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
So that was Oscar Bobb speaking just a few moments ago for the press conference ahead of our first pre-season friendly tomorrow against Celtic. Of course, you can watch that game live on City Plus, and we will be here for a special Matchday Live. Kel will be in the studio, of course, before the game at half-time and post-match as usual. So Oscar Bobb there, loved hearing from him. I love the breadth of questions that they get as well. It felt like he was being quizzed at times as well on different things. But he mentioned there, Steve, about looking up to Phil and being really happy to sit and wait. And when he appreciated that when he said getting his opportunities and taking them, that's so wonderful to hear.
No, I think the path that Phil Foden's took in this club has given a lot of these academy lads a clear, vision to the future. They can look at a player that's not jumped ship when people were asking him to, not gone out on loan when they asked him to. He's stuck behind here, he's trained with the best, he's learnt off the best, and he's become one of the best players in the world. So I feel like people like Oscar, it must be tempting to want to go out on loan, and people are telling you how good you are and you're not getting the minutes. But if he keeps with that attitude that we've seen there, and he keeps positive and he keeps doing what Pep asked him to do, it won't be long before he's in the first team. And like you say, what Phil Foden has done and the path he chose will be one of the best things that's ever happened to this club, in my opinion, and this academy will strive because of that.
It's such an amazing opportunity for him as well, because of course we saw him in last season, part of the first team squad, and we saw him coming on and being an impact. Obviously the Newcastle goal, the one that we all remember, and how important that goal. We would not have won the league without that goal. So this tour feels like, particularly maybe for him, really, really key opportunity for him, Paul.
Yeah, I think the tour, but I think this season in general for him now. Listening to him today, I thought he spoke very well. I thought some of the questions he got asked were horrendous, I'm not going to say. But he coped with it well. He's obviously a very mature young boy. But I know what's liked about him within the club is his versatility as well. You know, he's not just your natural wide player. He likes to come into little pockets in that 10 position and cause his teams a lot of problems. Technically, he's fantastic. And he done well. But he's another example of impressing in pre-season, because he went away to Asia last year and done really, really well. And he's obviously put a little thing in Pep's head there. And, you know, Pep put him on in some big games, game-changing games at the same time as well. So, big season for him, but it's something that he can handle. And since Steve's bang on, I think Phil has been a guiding light for everybody in the academy now. You know, and you speak to the kids in the academy, the awards that we've done at the end of the season, you speak to some of the coaches in the academy, and the players genuinely feel that there is a pathway through for them now, whereas maybe that wasn't the case before, you know, before Phil broke through.
Love our Phil. Love our Phil. Love Oscar Bobb as well, and some of the questions he was asked there. It's sky blue as well, by the way, is the shade that we call our blue here in Manchester. So that was Oscar Bobb at the press conference. Just a second ago, Pep Guardiola started to walk into the press conference as well. So we're going to go over there live now, and we're going to hear from our manager. I'm so excited. I haven't heard from him in days.
Hello, Pep. Did you have a good break?
Really good, yeah.
Did you manage to see a lot of the Euros while you were off?
Some of them, yeah. Some of them.
What did you make of the final?
I think the best team of the tournament won. I think nobody doubted that Spain was brilliant in all departments in every single game. It's not easy to win 7-7. But at the same time, for the connection I have with England, for the players for many years, so I think it's always a big success, right, to the finals. Get the 2 Euros finals in a row is an amazing achievement, and I think it's a good lesson for the future for the, for all the players.
The player of the tournament was Rodri. Did you see many of his performances?
Yes, when I saw Spain, I saw it, and he was, I would say, playing the level that he has playing for many years. His consistency is brutal. So, and of course, from Rodri, from Jaime Laporte, from from Ferran, that they were together. You know, yeah, I'm happy for them.
There's some talk that Rodri could be in the frame for the Ballon d'Or this year. Is that something that's possible for a defensive midfielder?
Well, I think there are a few candidates, you know, for the Ballon d'Or. Normally the winners for players of Real Madrid, and of course from Man City in that case. So I cannot deny how happy it would be if he could get it. But being in the, you know, in the race to be nominated or to win the Ballon d'Or is fantastic for him, of course, his family, friends, but of course for Man City, for the whole organisation. We're so proud of that.
Hi, Pep. You've had a few days with the players now. How have they come back? Are you happy with the shape everyone's in? And
we're really good. So I hear they have these guys here have a long break, so fresh mentally, legs, and 80%, 85% is academy players. It's good for me, for our staff, to see them, for them, you know, training with Erling, with Jack, with keepers, with Rico, Oscar, with the guys like in the first team, Calvin, and so yeah, it's a good test. We play 4 games, difficult, important teams, but it's good experience for them and for us as well.
I remember you saying at Wembley after the FA Cup final that a few of the players had decisions to make on their futures. We seem to talk about it every year, where it could be a few leaving, and it's often the case that they don't. They stay where they are. It looks like De Bruyne is staying. It looks like Ederson's probably going to stay. Would you be happy going in to the season with the status quo, just with the same squad?
Yeah, I love them. I like them. They proved for many years how good they are. So I don't know what's going to happen in the market, but the squad is long enough. If someone leaves, we are going to talk about that. Of course, until the last day, we have chances. We have chances. I don't rule it out, the option to have any new players. But if anyone leaves, I think 95% will have the same squad.
It seems like you're probably a little bit more relaxed than you were a few years ago, because when you were saying that you need to shake and move and there needs a refresh and things like that, but it doesn't seem like that this time.
I don't know when I said that. I got to refresh my mind after 8 years together. I don't know when I said that. I think I was clear. I remember perfectly the first season, that I think a really good season 8 years ago. But we are an old team and we have a new energy, and after we make important impact in the market. And since then we make movements depending most of the time. Sometimes the players that they want to play more, or sometimes players they want to give another experience. But yeah, we in that term, so every situation is different, and I feel comfortable because the quality of the human beings that we have in the squad is difficult to be replaced, and the quality is there. So, but we will see. We will see. I don't know in the last moment if someone came to, you know, some players and they leave. I'm going to decide.
Hi, Pep. You talked about your special connection with England. Look, we know your contract's up at the end of the season. England are currently looking for a manager. Is international management, maybe even England, something you would consider in the future?
I'm really excited for this season is coming, so I'm really happy here. So like every season I need the break. I need it definitely, but after that I charge my batteries and I have the same energy like usual, and I know the competition is coming. I will be who we are, who I am. So and I'm completely focused on that, for respect for Federation, English Federation, especially for my club.
You talked about the break. Jack Grealish has had probably a longer break than he probably wanted, because obviously he didn't go to the Euros. Just wondering how he handled that, and we've obviously seen pictures of him training privately and that kind of thing, just how he is now.
It's really good. I think I'm coming back perfect and with the same happiness and the same unbelievable attitude with the group. And yeah, hopefully he can do a good season to push his mates to deserve a place in the team, to want to play as much regular like it happened 2 seasons ago, no last season. And absolutely depends on him. So all the players depends on him, not on my decisions.
Hi Pep, one player that has come in is Savinho. What can you tell us about him and what you think he will bring to the team?
Well, the impact I have done in Girona have been absolutely amazing. So I think Mitchell, the manager, make an incredible job with him. Can play in both sides, left winger, right winger, even, and can play, I think, in the middle, but we need more special in the wingers. His 1-against-1 is devastated, and he's a young, and of course, I said to Jack to bring, maybe not a lot, but 1 or 2 players to, you know, to bring something fresh is necessary. It's not necessary to put sometimes 7, 8 players. You cannot, in modern financial issues, to change 6, 7 players and bring 6, 7 new players. It's unsustainable. It's impossible. You have to be smart, and we try to do. Many players want to come here, but we didn't get an agreement, you know, for the clubs because they ask so high price, and we didn't do it. And I have a long list. I think we have a more long list than the players that we failed to bring him here than the players that we bring him. We brought him here, so and I think, you know, for the connection we have in Troyes, because it was a player from there, for the price, for everything, for the age I have, we cannot forget he's playing for national team from Brazil, and he's a guy like he's not few. You have few as a wingers that can play in both sides. Maybe Doku. The other ones can play just in one side. Phil, you know, so he can use it 2 positions, and yeah, very, very happy for him, and say thank you to Girona, because without the job has done him there, especially the manager and all the players, could not be possible to bring him here.
Is it frustrating if deals are not going through? If you're saying
No, absolutely not. Absolutely not. When it doesn't happen, it doesn't happen. So I respect the other clubs, like ask, you know, the price they want to do, but at the same time, we are not agreed, they don't come.
Hi, Pep. What would quantify success against Celtic, and then ultimately, when your time is up 2 weeks here in the United States, how would you look back and say it was a successful trip and a successful match tomorrow?
No injuries.
Anything else?
No injuries. That is a big success that we can have. So we don't come here to lift the 4 trophies. So we come here to no injuries, to refresh what we are, and especially, I said 80-85% of the team is from the young academy players. So we have to, you know, experience will be good. We got to play against, of course, the Rangers, Celtic and Rangers in Scotland are the top team. So, and after Milan, come on, and Barcelona and Chelsea, these guys play against that team. It's better, I would say, experience or better improvement to see how can develop, can compete, can be against these opponents is massively important for all of us, for them.
With that larger group of newer players, the opportunities, anyone in particular, 2 or 3 players in particular that you're looking at saying there's a real opportunity for them?
I want to see all of them. I want to see all of them. I'm curious to see Maka especially come back from Sheffield experience. He's a player who have a highly opinion on him, and I would like he can insert properly with the team, because I would love to have him, to kick him in the next season with us, because he's a special guy to play in the small spaces in the pockets, and we don't have many, and I think he grew up in terms of physicality and mentality. You know, when you play in the Premier League, in a team like you know, fighting for to be relegated, you get something special, and but on the other side, I don't care how he's going to play, because I know him quite well, and I know his potential, and he has to just, you know, play good for himself, for the team, and that's all.
Pep, what do you like about this stadium tour in America, and is there anything you're specifically looking forward to here in North Carolina?
I've been many years here, many years in the tour, and the organization always is unbelievable. I will be honest, I don't want to be too nice for your country. It's just, you know, when arrive at the airport to the hotels are nice, and facilities, you know, all the facilities, big pitches. Yeah, it's really cool. I love to come here, because every time since Barcelona time, always we come here is good. Sometimes, of course, the club has to go in other continents to play, but I like to come here in the States.
What do you know specifically about the University of North Carolina and getting to play on their campus?
Well, when I listened to North Carolina, I was thinking of Michael Jordan, but unfortunately it wasn't not the university, it was in the other one, right?
No, he played at UNC.
He as well?
Oh, yes.
I was here because the last day the coach here told me that I was not here. I was in another university. I don't know. Anyway, the first mine it come here, but yeah, it's the first time I'm here in this state. So yeah, and following on TV, you know the elections for United States. That's what we're here. We're following.
Three more guys before training, just at the back.
Sir, welcome to North Carolina. Thank you for answering our questions. Two questions. One, when you get a reaction just by sitting down and you get that crowd reaction, chanting your name, begging for pictures.
I'm so famous. So famous.
Does that kind of make you happy knowing like how popular the sport is here in North Carolina and in the States? But also, what does that do for the brand and the sport of soccer, knowing that it's giving a whole other country and people the chance to see you guys when they maybe would never get to in their life?
Well, since many years ago, so I think MLS grew up a lot in the last years. I think the impact from Messi came here always help us, you come this kind of figure for the MLS competition is an incredible boost. I know the stadiums are nice and the people is growing. I know here in England, in the States, you have many sports, basketball, baseball, hockey, so a lot. So, it's not like maybe in Europe that there is a lot of sports as well, of course, but football is the most important sport in terms of audience. But it's nice to have the country, like you said, with the brand. I remember the first year when I arrived, second season when I arrived here, and it was not many blue shirts in the stands and helps what the team has done in the previous seasons. We are better known all around the world, and this is so proud because at the end, titles, you leave the title, it's fine, it's really good. That keeps you a job for the next season. But the important is the fact that the people follow us. Premier League worldwide is being followed amazingly. So that's why it's so important, to show our brand, to respect the games, and we have to behave well, for all the people, because at the end, reward for our self-esteem and many things. So that's why it's nice, really nice to come here every season.
Profesor, bienvenido. Creo que soy el único que habla español aquí en el grupo. ¿Puedo hacer esta pregunta en español y usted responde en español? Para los oyentes que están en español, somos de TUDN Radio, and I'm sorry for all my colleagues. I'm going to do this question in Spanish for my speaking Spanish audience.
Don't feel sorry, they will learn. So they have a chance.
Aquí en América se habla mucho de que sería un sueño tener un entrenador como usted. México, la selección de México sueña con tener un entrenador como Pep Guardiola. ¿Usted estaría interesado en algún momento de venir a dirigir a América Latina?
Ya le he hecho más. He oído que Aguirre ahora será el nuevo seleccionador de México, cosa que me alegro mucho, porque me acuerdo el primer año que yo, cuando tenía 37 años, que entré en el Barcelona, Aguirre ya estaba entrenando y se portó. Es un tipo con mucha experiencia, ha hecho un trabajo increíble en el Mallorca, y creo que Rafa Márquez también volverá allí ayudándole, pero ya lo he hecho más de una vez. No sé cuándo, creo que en tiempo, pero tarde o temprano me gustaría entrar a la selección. Esto lo he hecho muchas veces.
Y otra pregunta, muchos jugadores ya, la vida del futbolista es muy corta, algunos reciben buenas ofertas, and I can say this question in English too, so es muy corta la vida del futbolista, y salen buenas ofertas, como el caso de Kevin ahora, que va al fútbol de Arabia.
No.
Creo que no sé si sale. Hay una información.
Kevin no va.
No va. Pero hay jugadores que dicen que vienen a la MLS, que quizá no sea tan competitiva como Europa. Usted, si un futbolista le pide un consejo, ¿qué usted le diría?
Que el corazón les diga. Que vayan donde él y su familia intuyen que estarán bien, se encontrarán bien.
Gracias.
No.
Coach, for many fans in attendance tomorrow, this may be their first exposure to high-level European football, or a lot of kids, just their introduction to the sport in general. Can you recall maybe your first introduction to the sport and how it may have led you to your position today?
I had her in that time. My back was better than now, and yeah, I don't remember honestly. I was nervous, but excited at the same time to prove. It's all the guys, I guess. When you look at them, they look at you like, oh, I want to learn, I want to be in the first team, and that is priceless. So it's so good. So yeah, we try to help each other, to try to apply a little bit what we spoke, to make them feel comfortable tomorrow and the next games. And they will do mistakes, improve for the next one. Like I said before, your colleague, no injuries, and like this they can train, accumulate, especially the players for the first team, as much accumulate games, 45 minutes, 60 minutes, and training sessions, week by week. The conditions will not be perfect, but we'll arrive in the first part of the season in the better condition as possible.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you, guys. What? Here?
And that, of course, is Pep Guardiola. But you knew that, didn't you? Because he's so famous. Loved that. Love when Pep's in this mood. I really, really enjoyed that press conference. And we all sort of say he looks fresh, Steve, doesn't he? He looks youthful and like he's had a really good holiday.
It's great to see. He's got a fantastic tan. And, no, he spoke really well. And I thought he was a bit upbeat. And the way he spoke about the players and the new season, and you know they tried to press him on the England job and things, and he sort of politely declined that. And no, he looks well, and it's all good for Manchester City fans to see him like that.
My absolute worst nightmare on earth, Paul, would be if Pep Guardiola became the England manager. I would hate every single second.
Don't even go there. It's not going to happen.
He shut it down, didn't he? So
yeah.
We're good. We're good with that. And he talked about the fact that he said he needed the break. It was a long season. It was a hard season again. And he said he needed the break. But he had the break. And I loved it when he was sort of saying that he's bouncing and he's back and he's looking forward to this season already. Because I think that's kind of how we all feel. That's what we want to hear as well. Pep Guardiola is back.
It is, but it was so energetic in that interview there in the press conference, and answering every questions with enthusiasm. The one he didn't want to answer, he just sort of pied them off a little bit, but just super positive, and he looks as if he's... The end of last season, I think he was a bit tired, I think, after the treble winning season, and then the pressure for winning 4 in a row, and then the FA Cup final. So he's needed a break, but they all need the break, and especially Pep's so intense in everything that he does, not just in match days, but day-to-day training as well. But no, he's so enthusiastic there. It was good to see.
I loved the little drops, the little sense of humour, the little feelings that we got from him. So many interesting things as well. I was writing notes as he was speaking. Something that jumped out at me is when he was asked about the academy players that he was looking forward to seeing that had the opportunity. He specifically mentioned James McAtee. Now, we know obviously he was on loan at Sheffield United for the last 2 seasons. They love him at Sheffield United. So was that interesting for you, Steve, to hear him specifically pick him out?
Yeah, because you could see when he was talking about him, he was getting into it. He was mentioning about him working in tight spaces. And he was also mentioning, obviously, the character of him. When you've been at a team dealing with relegation, it leaves something on you a little bit. So I was surprised by it. You know, a lot of Manchester City fans probably thought maybe McAtee might not have had a future here because he's been on loan. But if I'm McAtee tonight and I see my manager talking like that, it's going to give him a boost. So he can clearly see something in him and some sort of, role for him in the team. So we'll just have to see in these games where he plays it.
Yeah, the way he specifically pinpointed him, is that like Steve said there, the way he talked about him dropping into the areas as well, and he said that he'd like to see him with them next season, which I thought was really interesting.
It is, and I thought, look, this first season he'd done really well when they got promoted at Sheffield United, and I was slightly surprised that he went on loan last season and they didn't buy him, which maybe kept that window open for him to come back this pre-season, see how he could handle his first full season in the Premier League. He spoke about his physicality. James will openly admit himself that he needed to bulk up a little bit. Mentally, as Pep said there and Steve rightly said there, being in that relegation battle as well can add something more to you, not just technical. And he's a Pep Guardiola player. He says he plays in the little pockets, he makes it difficult. He's very, very technical. But, as Steve said there, that if you're James McAtee and you've seen that interview, you would watch it over and over again because it's going to give him such a big boost.
Cannot wait to really hope to see him in the game tomorrow against Celtic. Loads of other things we're going to whiz through because we're going to go over to PitchSide shortly, where FG is there with Shaun Wright-Phillips and Joleon Lescott. But he mentioned the importance of no injuries. He's hoping for no injuries on this tour. That is so key.
Yeah, no, it's not. This is a pre-season tour. We're out there. but we've got to make sure we know what we're out there for. It's to get fit and to get up to speed, ready for the first game of the season. And we were saying off air about maybe we need a few additions. The McAtee thing you just said there, maybe James is going to come into the equation, but the last thing we want is any injuries. You know, Jack's been working hard away from the cameras. Erling's had a nice break. You know, he's been meditating on the riverbank and all that. So
chopping wood. That's
what I'm saying, chopping wood and, you know, driving a tractor and that. But no, the last thing you want as a manager is any injuries. So if we can come away from this tour with a fully fit squad going into the Charity Shield and Chelsea and getting all the boys back from holiday, I feel like Pep will be happy with that.
That's the one thing that's probably the only thing that's never changed since I played pre-season. It was all about getting yourself fit and up and running the first game of the season and no injuries. You know, we've played in pre-seasons where you've won every game and you lose your first 4 games of the season. I've lost every game and you get a great start. So the results don't make a difference. It's about getting them right up to speed for the Community Shield and then that first game against Chelsea.
Yeah, absolutely, and that'll come round quickly because they always do. Loved that press conference from Pep Guardiola. Now look at them 3 handsome guys. PitchSide there at Chapel Hill. A very streamlined FG since the last time we saw him as well. Hey guys, how are you all, FG?
What's happening, Nat?
Hey, hello everyone in Manchester. We're very well, thank you. Great to see you all as well. Big Steve looking well, Paul Dickov and Nat as well looking great.
Very kind, FG. Right, tell us what is going on over there. What can you see? We're not jealous at all.
Well, to be quite honest with you, it's been pretty crazy, hasn't it? Of course, I've got the pleasure of being with Joleon and Shaun again. Joleon, behind us right now, there are
in front of us.
In front of us right now, yeah, behind the cameras right now are some kids who have been absolutely making crazy noise for our players who've just come out.
Yeah, the noise was electric there when the players came out. A lot of them I met yesterday, one of the soccer schools, but yeah, very energetic crowds here.
Yeah, so welcome to Chapel Hill, our first stop on the US tour. Shaun, we've had a great few days here, haven't we? What have we been up to?
What haven't we been up to? To the thing. We had the food tasting, which I think everyone would have seen. Big Mike's barbecue, which me and Joleon were defeated by. We did give it a good try, but it didn't work. But it's been fantastic to see the turnout and to see how big the following is out here for our club.
Yeah, the following's huge. I mean, Joleon, everywhere you look, like behind the camera and in front of us, is Man City shirts. It's great to see, isn't it?
Yeah, obviously we're growing every year from the brilliance on the pitch, the magnitude of the club. So yeah, in regards to the stature of the club, it's getting and it's expanding every year.
Yeah, we're definitely expanding. Let's talk about the players that are here, or the players that are not here. There's some players, of course, that are not here, but they've had great summers. It was great to see Rodri and Julian Alvarez win things for their national team, but also a lot of the players who are not here, they were all brilliant in the major tournaments, weren't they, Joleon?
Yeah, massive. Obviously Rodri, the standout potential hopeful Ballon d'Or winner, but yeah, in regards to the summer, I'm sure there's a lot of them more disappointed than Rodri, but overall they all had a great summer, and hopefully they come back and are able to recharge their batteries on the break they're going to get now and come back mentally and physically prepared for the season.
As a player, when your team's playing in pre-season and you're not there, Shaun, do you think it's easy for them to switch off completely, or they can't really because they'll be keeping an eye on this?
No, of course they'll be keeping an eye on it, but I think that they're professional enough to know it's time to switch off and proper rest, because sometimes it's not just your body that's fatigued, it's the mental side of it as well. So I think they would have had a nice break after, like you said, all of them were successful in their own way, and they deserve the break, and I'm glad that they're getting it, especially Rodri. I think he's a man that just don't seem to get a break anywhere he goes, but he's a winner, so take my hat off to that, I'll tell you that much.
It's an absolute pleasure to watch him play, but yeah, we hope he's resting well and all of our players are resting well. Huge opportunity for these players. We just saw the press conferences. We'll start with our manager, Pep, in a great mood as always. I love it when he's in that mood. He was talking about, he even mentioned about Rodri with the Ballon d'Or, and he was like, there's loads of candidates, but he'd be delighted to win it, and delighted if he won it. But the job Pep's done has been incredible. This pre-season is an opportunity for him to see players that he hasn't seen many of, much of, and it's an opportunity for the players as well.
Oh, definitely. An opportunity for both, like you said, the players especially to leave an impact, whether it's on the pitch. I'm sure he's aware of all their technical aspects and abilities, but it's an opportunity to give an impression personally, what you are as like as a person, because you're coming into a first-team environment. Granted, there's a lot more academy players in this squad, but later on in the season, you might be one of few. So it's an opportunity to leave an impression off the pitch as well as on it.
We've seen pre-season before for players. We'll talk about Rico Lewis. He had his breakthrough through pre-season. You're a young player. You're coming into this environment. You're seeing all this amazing stuff, Shaun. What's going through your head? Is it just solely focused on making sure the tour's good enough and not trying to look too far ahead?
No, I think, like Joleon said, there's a lot of young players here. I think you normally go to a pre-season and the senior players are trying to get what they need out of the game. I think tomorrow's game is going to be completely different because there's a young players that want to make an impression. So I've got a feeling it's going to be quite high intensity. They're going to go for it and show Pep what they're made of. And I think when you got McAtee and Oscar and Rico to show the younger kids the way to do it, I think they're in perfectly good hands.
And of course, Pep mentioned James McAtee, Joleon, a player that we all rate very, very highly. He did really well in his loan stint, a massive opportunity for him.
Oh, huge. Like Big Steve said in the studio, if you're James McAtee and you hear that, it certainly can inspire you to do well. I'm sure he's aware what the manager thinks of him. He obviously slightly biased to small left-footed midfielders, to mention Phil Foden and Messi, to mention two of them. But in regards to James McAtee, I know how fondly he feels of the club and of the club think of him. So it's a real opportunity for him now to take a claim and leave an impression. So he's not going on loan, and there's a real opportunity for him to compete next season.
And it was a huge opportunity for him last season in that loan. You've got to fly there. Get rid of that. It's like the bat again. Do you remember the bat in Tokyo? Flies like in Shaun. But anyway, Sheffield United, his loan spell, actually did him a lot of good, didn't it?
The world of good. I think people don't understand how hard it is for him to be in a team like that's continuously losing, but still putting on the performances he was putting on. I think for a young man, I think that's done his mental strength the world of good. And I think now he's coming here on confident, a load of first-team games under his belt. Now he will be more settled here. There's situations he'll be able to deal with better because he's experienced them. In no disrespect to Sheffield United, but not in a very good team. Now he's in a better team, and those situations will be easier for him to get out of.
Yeah, absolutely. And let's move on to Oscar Bobb, who we also saw in the press conference. He seems to be growing in stature every time you see him. This is a real opportunity. He had a great year last year for him personally. Do you think he's going to kick on? That goal at St James's Park, they mentioned it in the studio before, could be a really, really important tour for him.
Yeah, definitely. I think it will help him being one of the more recognisable faces and names. Now, obviously, if everyone was here, he'd be one of the lesser experienced players. But here now, he's obviously going to have to be in part of the leadership group in regards to the academy players. So yeah, it's a real opportunity for him, and obviously there'll be no question of him staying here this season. It's just where we can get more game time, and hopefully now is an opportunity for him to impress Pep at the start of the season.
Yeah, he spoke really, really well in that press conference. A man that we've not mentioned yet, which is interesting because he scored a goal for Manchester City in the Champions League, is Micah Hamilton. Yeah. I'll come to you first, Shaun, because he's got so many strengths to his game and he could offer so much.
Yeah, well, he showed that in his debut in the Champions League. I thought he was fantastic, and I hope he's got that same mindset now that he still wants to prove, and the hunger and desire. Can you hear the fans? Boys, the team's obviously just come over behind us now, so the fans got a little bit crazy. But yeah, he's got so much to give, and this is another opportunity again for him to show on a more consistent basis where I'm ready for that step up and to make the change.
And talking about this environment here, you can hear the fans going crazy because the players are just here. For the younger players to experience this, where they might not have experienced it before, how much benefit and how much motivation does that give to them?
Hopefully it's the world of motivation. This is what you want to aspire to and become a regular in these environments. But yeah, it's an opportunity to play in front of fans and different crowds and environments. But yeah, when we go to the games, I'm sure upwards of 30,000, which a lot of these young players won't have experienced. So it's a real test of nerve and character, because they have to treat this game a lot more serious than, say, the more experienced players. They can't come here with the thought of, it's just pre-season, I'm just trying to get fit. They have to come here with the real ambition of impressing Pep and the coaching staff to make a way into the squad.
Does that make Pep's job a little bit easier in that sense, because he knows that the group of players he's got have to show, maybe give it 110% every single game they're playing?
I wouldn't say it makes his job easier. I think in so many ways it could make it harder, because if they come here and do what everybody believes and expects them to do, then he's got more tougher decisions to make when it comes to picking that final squad going into the season. But I mean, this is like Joleon said, this is a lovely opportunity for them, and it will do each of them the world of good, even if they're not in that 24-man squad. What they've experienced here, it's not something you get often, and it's great to see, and I'm really looking forward to the game and watching them play.
Yeah, it's going to be really, really exciting. There's also players like Justin Aboado, who scored in the Youth Cup for us. He's a quick player. He's very young, 17 years of age, explosive player. Opportunities for players in this position. We've seen Callum Doyle as well. Spoke really, really well. He had a really good loan spell last season.
Had a few good loans, yeah.
Yeah, and he's been absolutely brilliant. Him being here as well and speaking so highly of Pep, there's so much for him to learn. And of course, he's played that men's football as well.
Yeah, that's key. I think, listen, as a young player, you have to get into the first team environment as quick as possible, not to develop on the pitch, but off the pitch as well. We've got to understand there's a lot of young boys here, you know what I mean? One of the lads is 16, so he's obviously different. He's probably the longest he's been away from his family, do you know what I mean? So there's obviously different experiences that they can gain in this environment, not just on the pitch and what it's like to train with the players like Erling and Jack, but in regards to becoming men, really, because you're going into an environment where it's unforgiving. You're not going to be seen as a young boy forever. You're going to be judged on what you bring to the team, and as I said, there's a maturity that comes with that, so hopefully they're developing in every aspect of their young adulthood.
And let's talk about Jack Grealish, shall we? An interesting summer for him. Obviously, we know what happened with the Euros, but he looks like he's in great shape. He looks like he's raring to go, Shaun. We know, City fans know about Jack Grealish's qualities. Are we expecting a good season from him?
Yeah, most definitely. I think I've been in that similar situation where I haven't gone on a tournament, and it feels like that break from the season ends to when the pre-season starts, it's like it takes forever to come around, and he's obviously done the right things while he's been away. He's come back tip-top shape, and he would be raring to go, and he would be excited because now he's playing, and he's got a chance to stake his claim and win that position back and make it his own again.
And he'll be looking at this as a massive opportunity. What about someone like Calvin Phillips as well, Joleon, who's back with the squad? Calvin's a great guy, a fantastic player as well. We've seen it. It's an opportunity for him to sort of restart his career as well.
Yeah, hopefully that's the real opportunity that he needs. And as I said, it'll be different circumstances for him. Hopefully there's a run of games that he knows he's going to get, and players can perform differently when they're in a relaxed mindset. So hopefully that's the case, because he's a top player, and I think everybody wants to see him do well, and I think everyone that knows him knows how good of a guy he is as well. So hopefully he's in a better mind space than he was at the end of last season. I know he was on loan, and he probably didn't go as well as everyone would have hoped for him. But in regards to this season, it's an opportunity for a fresh start and a clean slate.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think it's a massive credit to our academy as well when you watch the players behind us, how sharp they all are. The rondos that they're doing here are so high quality, and I'm not just talking about this circle with the senior players in. There's one here with the likes of Mike Hamilton, Oscar Bobb's in there, Callum Doyle's in there, Tom Galvez is in there. They're all so sharp, aren't they?
Yeah, and I think that's why you have to take your hat off to the way the academy system at Man City's done, because they've come here and they feel comfortable within the ball or whatever box they're in because of the training they go through, the repetition of keeping the possession of the ball. And when you can pop it around like that, you can't think of anything worse if you're the two in the middle and you can't get the ball. So they just keep popping it through the gap. So it is nice to see, and hopefully they take this zest and zippiness in the way they're popping around into the game tomorrow.
Yeah, I wouldn't like to be in a rondo. Also, let's touch on what we've been doing again in Chapel Hill, because I mean there's some content coming to City Channel soon which involves these two trying two other sports. First things first, Joleon, we'll come to you. Baseball. Yes. Nothing but pure upper body strength is what I'll say. This man is a machine. How is that?
Yeah, to be fair, the rotation wasn't there. It was more just the swing of the arms and the upper body strength. But yeah, it's a lot harder, the timing. We wasn't swinging on proper pitches as they're known. There was underarm pitches, a lot softer and slower.
Sorry, we have to stop you there because they've just sang happy birthday to Erling Haaland, which is probably one of the nicest things. It's a day late, but he got his cake as well, which is on City socials, and Erling just had a little laugh. And Shaun Wright-Phillips, basketball.
What about it?
Tony, what do you make of Shaun Wright-Phillips on the basketball court?
Let me hear this now.
No, he's all right. To be fair, he's clutch, man. We put him under pressure his last two shots and he delivered, man. So I got to give him his props.
Listen, that is some sensational content which is coming as part of our City on Tour series. We've had so much fun. Look, before we head back to the studio, what we're going to do is we're going to play a game with you, all right, Shaun? This game is going to be just with Shaun. We've got yours for later on in the tour, okay?
Why just me?
Because, mate, listen,
you can't lose, Shaun.
This is what we call a TikTok trend, all right?
Oh my God.
And it wasn't my idea, by the way. It was a TikTok trend. You need to stay quiet until you hear a player that you think is faster than you in your prime, okay? And you were quick. He was quick, right? Okay, you ready to go? I feel like he wants to just speak anyway. Do you want to get it out first?
No, go on.
Right, okay. First player, Rico Lewis.
No.
Oh. He literally just spoke.
I did it wrong.
This
we have
is
to
live
start
TV.
again.
Right, we'll start again.
God,
He knows
Shaun.
the first
Don't
answer
speak.
now, doesn't he? you can't say
It's
no.
that simple, Shaun.
I like to talk, innit?
Right, okay. Got to be silent, all right? Number 1, Rico Lewis. Number 2, Jack Grealish. Number 3, Kevin De Bruyne. Number 4, Phil Foden. Number 5, Oscar Bob. Erling Haaland?
Yeah, maybe, yeah.
You just shot on Erling, yeah?
Yeah, because I think
Maybe.
over like maybe
Yeah.
20 yards, okay. But if it goes further,
yeah.
he
Maybe.
gets quicker and
Maybe.
quicker.
Yeah.
So,
The next one would have been Jeremy Doku.
no, I'm quicker than him.
Oh,
Yeah, I'm quicker than
Joleon.
Jerry.
You're quicker than him.
Yeah, in my prime, I reckon I was. yeah.
I reckon the opposite to Erling. I reckon the longer it goes, he's quicker.
Yeah,
The
yeah,
shorter,
yeah.
I reckon. About 5 to 10, I would say Jeremy. Longer than that, Shaun.
And the last one was probably just put in so you'd speak, and it was Carl Walker.
Yeah, stupid.
Yeah, that's just a pointless.
Yeah, that was just pointless. But that was Shaun Wright-Phillips with the TikTok trend. Joleon, you've got that to come up.
Best not be pace.
we'll arrange something like that. Gents, thank you so
Shrimp.
much.
I want to do shrimp.
You want to do strength? Yeah,
Shrimp.
strong.
Shrimp.
I can't wait till you
Why
guys.
has he got to pick his game?
Yeah, man.
Well, what would you have wanted?
Strength.
You wanted strength?
Yeah.
What are you lying for?
We'll arrange that one as well, most definitely. Look, we're going to head back to our studio. We'll be back very, very soon tomorrow for the match, all right, against Celtic. We look forward to it. Over to the legends in the studio.
Thank you so much, FG. Thank you, Shaun. Thank you, Joleon. Are you guys standing in like the busiest place? Or like everybody keeps walking past you. I don't know if you know. Like every man and his dog has walked past you, and except some of them keep crouching down, but we can see them.
Yeah, we were absolutely fully aware of it. Yeah, there was a guy who was literally with a camera right next to you here before. We were fully aware of it.
Like, do they not respect you all enough? Come on, you need to put your power down, FG.
Nah, we couldn't exactly tell them to get out the way and all that. It's a free country over here.
I feel like we're just happy to be here, right?
Yeah.
Show your strength, Shaun.
We need Big Steve to come and help us out.
Big Steve says he wants to see the strength from the lads to stop people walking past.
He wants to see Joleon's strength or Shaun's strength.
Both of them.
Because they're both strong.
Them. Stop the people. That's what we say.
Ready to go? Well, we're off to... Well, maybe you got a new career then.
Yeah,
maybe.
Security.
Thank you, guys. Speak to you soon.
Security. Bye, guys. See you soon. Take care. Bye. I love that. I loved Shaun that couldn't stay quiet during his TikTok trend. He just couldn't do it.
He didn't quite get the game, did he?
No.
I don't think he did he? No, bless him. But I loved it. I loved his answers about who would be faster. He'd really thought about that.
Shawnee was quick. He was one of these players, quick without the ball, but he was actually quicker with the ball when he was dribbling with it. I was quite surprised he spoke up Erling, though. I would say Shaun was quicker than Erling.
I think it's the stride of Erling, isn't it?
Yeah.
Erling's got four of Shawnee's strides in one, I think.
Shawnee's got 20 and little shuffles to one Erling strides, that's what it is.
Oh, I loved the American crowd singing happy birthday to you, happy birthday, Haaland, happy birthday to you. That was very American.
It was.
Very American.
It's great for the fans out there to be able to see them as well, you know. We say it all the time, the club's just getting bigger and bigger on a global basis, and especially out in the US, and for the fans to be up close and personal, to see them training, see them in the games, and tomorrow it's great for them.
Yes, love that. The American fans really getting to see the man there. He's so famous. He's our Pep Guardiola. If you've just joined us and you haven't seen his press conference from earlier, go back 20 minutes or so and watch his press conference. It was absolutely brilliant. We loved it. Now, of course, we were speaking earlier about the fact that we've had during the summer the Copa America, and we've also had the Euros. Now, a few of us to do with Matchday Live did some Euro predictions a little bit earlier on. So we're talking way before the tournament started. We did some predictions. So let's have a look how everybody did. So we had to predict winner, player of the tournament, top scorer, best young player and shock team. So there was Kel, myself, FG, Nedum, Kit Simons, Ali Mann and Big Steve. And the only one that got 3 right was Big Steve. Go on, Steve. OK, so you were the only person that predicted Spain, first of all. Why did you fancy them?
I just did. I felt that they were playing well coming up to the tournament, and then looking at the players, especially the wingers, Williams and Yamal, it was like, I think they were going under the radar. No one was really speaking about it. And then Rodri's so important for Manchester City and Spain. Pedri as well. Just fancied them, just really did. I had a bet on them as well, so I was happy with that.
Well done. Well done. If you can see my mind there, I had France's winners, although I did change my mind pretty much after the group stage. But I had France before. Foden, obviously. I feel like I had to go with our boy. I feel like I was more loyal than you for this game. Or maybe I was thinking with my heart and you were thinking with your head, Steve. Mbappe obviously scored a bag full of no goals at the Euros. Best young player, again, I went for Foden because... Paul, my heart was overtaking my head.
I think before the tournament, I definitely would have joined you with Foden in Scotland.
Shock team Scotland, shocking team Scotland.
You definitely went with
I would have won that.
Yeah, definitely went with that. That's definitely.
I just thought we were going to get out the groups, and I thought that was going to surprise everybody, but we didn't.
I thought we would have struggled. I did. I'm not just saying that afterwards. I just looked at the groups.
I had to get a plane back to Edinburgh with the Tartan Army. I was the only one on there with an England top on.
They were the best. They were the best thing about the whole tournament, weren't they? The Tartan Army.
Great, the Scotland fans.
And the Netherlands fans were good as well.
Oh, brilliant!
I went to the Scotland-Switzerland game. Obviously, the game where Scotland got a point and scored a goal, and witnessed the masterclass of Akanji again, firsthand.
He was outstanding all tournament, wasn't he?
Outstanding, annoyingly outstanding in that game. But yes, the Tartan Army were magnificent. But congratulations.
Thank you. What do we win?
Good predictions. The pride of Matchday Live.
No budget for it, is it?
No budget at all whatsoever. You just get to show off to everybody that you knew more. So this is PitchSide Live, of course. Tomorrow, City's first pre-season game of the season against Celtic. So it is a 12:30, so that is 12:30 midnight kick-off here in the UK. So Matchday Live, Kel will be here in the studio with a build-up to the game from about 11:20 tomorrow. And he's going to be joined by Steve Howie and by Kit Simons. So Celtic, talking about Scotland, Celtic as our first pre-season game. I mean, Celtic is similar, they have an incredible following all around the world, an absolutely huge club. I imagine the fans will be going absolutely insane tomorrow for both teams, Paul. Yeah, they will. Look, the Celtic fans globally and historically are fantastic. I'm a boyhood Celtic fan growing up as well, so my two teams playing against each other tomorrow, and it'll be a good test. It'll be a good test for Man City tomorrow, with us being our first game. Celtic had 3 or 4 games already. Pre-season, a couple in Scotland, and one, I think they beat DC United 4-0 the other night there. So they're sort of probably 2 or 3 weeks ahead of our guys in fitness and games-wise. So, but in saying that Pep will want that sort of test to see where the players are at the minute. And obviously Brendan Rodgers there, old teammate Kasper Schmeichel, who's went in as well, replacing our other old teammate, Joe Hart. So it'll be a tough game for them, but the atmosphere will be fantastic. You've seen the City fans here at the training session, and there'll be a lot of Celtic fans there tomorrow as well. And of course, for Celtic, unlike City, they will have the majority, if not all, of their squad back by now, especially, sadly, the Scotland players that were in the Celtic squad. Still not over that, will be back. So they'll be playing with the full squad as well. Yeah, they will. Kyogo's a fantastic player. Matt O'Reilly, who got a couple of goals. He's been linked with Juventus at the minute, I think. He's a very good player. All the obviously internationals are away with Scotland as well, so they'll be up to full strength, so it'll be a good test. In terms of the City team for tomorrow, Steve, obviously we mentioned Pep mentioned James McAtee earlier. Who are you looking forward to seeing tomorrow of any of the squad? It could be from the fringe players. Who are you looking forward to seeing? I like Nico O'Reilly. He's a player that I've watched in the EDS for a long time. Me and Paul spoke off air about him. I feel like he's a really good talent. He's there now on the screen. I feel like he's very, very positive. Every time he gets the ball, he wants to play the forward pass, and he's just come back from a bad injury, but I feel like, he could light it up for me. So I'm looking forward to seeing him. And we spoke about him before, Oscar Bob. I feel like Oscar's, like you say, he's got a little bit of a point to prove now. He's bedded in the team. He wants more minutes. It's up to Oscar to go out there and make Pep take note. I think as hardcore fans, we're looking forward to seeing, exactly as you say, some of the youth players, some of the fringe players. For those American fans, though, who do you think is going to get the biggest scream tomorrow, Jack Grealish or Erling Haaland?
I think Erling might just nick it on there as well, but said before, it's great for them to see it. I'm looking forward to seeing Peroni come back as well.
Yeah.
You know, he had a very good loan spell. You know, I liked what I've seen of him the short match time he got the season before. Callum Doyle, who's, I know Joleon mentioned there before, you know, he's only 20 years old, but he's already had good loan spells at Sunderland, Coventry, and the Leicester fans loved him last season, so big chance for him to impress. And obviously Jayden Heskey, who won the EDS Player of the Year, he swept up at the awards at the end of the season there, scoring lots of goals. So there's so many different people I'm looking forward to seeing out there, because we've got such a talented squad now. I want to see Calvin Phillips do well.
Yes, Calvin Phillips. We saw him he's there in shot now on the left. Obviously had the loan spells last season at West Ham that didn't specifically really work out for him. Everybody that ever comes into contact with him only wishes that man well. He seems like the loveliest man. I really hope that this tour he gets an opportunity to stand out.
Yeah, everybody knows how good of a person he is. He's been a little bit unlucky at City. They tried to find a solution with him at West Ham. Everyone was rooting for him at West Ham. It didn't work out there. I feel like with pre-season, though, for a lot of players, it can be a fresh start. It can be a new beginning. And especially with a lot of the senior players missing, this is a chance for Calvin, against good opposition, to put a marker down. You know, there's no Rodri there. If he can get in that role and start pre-season and catch Pep's eye, then maybe he's got a future at the club. And like you say, everyone's rooting for him. Everyone that's come into contact with Calvin knows what a good player he is. And I think he's just got to believe it a little bit himself. I feel like what he did for England a few years ago, he was up there, England player of the tournament and things like that. And I feel like he just needs to get his confidence back.
And obviously, Gareth Southgate made some comments about Calvin Phillips before the tournament, that essentially Gareth Southgate was struggling with his formation because he didn't have Calvin Phillips. Perhaps comments like that and this opportunity will really help to boost his confidence.
That didn't really make sense to me a little bit, you know. When
Take him.
Yeah.
He was in, when he wasn't playing for City, he was in the squad every week. He goes out to play and then he leaves him out. And then he comes out with obviously the statement that you've just said, that we can't get a player to sit inside Declan Rice because Calvin Phillips was that good at it, but then you don't take him. So I think Calvin now, he obviously would have watched the Euros. I probably would have had a little snigger at Gareth's comments on that one. But he'll be desperate to do well. I just hope he doesn't try too hard, you know, to come back in and impress. You just want to see the Calvin Phillips that won the Player of the Euros, that done so well for Leeds, and who looked so promising when he first came in. We just need to get him back to that, and then hopefully he can stay with us and have a good season.
I mean, he looks fit there. He looks like he's been staying in good shape and staying in form as well. So it'll be interesting to see if he's in the team tomorrow. In terms of the other first team players that we're used to seeing, we'll have Stefan Ortega and Ederson to choose between goal. I imagine they might get a half each, which again will be wonderful for the fans to see because they were both so phenomenal last season.
Yeah, brilliant. I mean, they talk about Ortega, he's probably the best number 2 around, you know what I mean? It's the first time in years as a City fan, no disrespect to the past number 2 goalies, where if Ortega is in net, you're calm with it, a little bit relaxed with it, you know what I mean? And yeah, they're doing so well. There's talk of Ederson maybe leaving, but, you know, with Ortega there, we don't want to see Ederson go, but I think Ortega's, I mean, especially last season, the save against Tottenham was unbelievable. So, yeah, them two are great.
I remember that save like it was yesterday. I don't remember where I was. I remember the way I crashed to the floor and just worried about what was going to happen. So, very much thanks Stefan Ortega forever. There we see Stefan Ortega. And there's our Scott Carson as well getting involved. And Ederson looks like he's got layers on there as well. Yeah. So we've got the proper trio, the dream team trio of goalkeepers out there. Another first team player we haven't talked about yet, but Pep mentioned, or Pep was asked about him in his press conference, of course, is Jack. Yeah. We know that he's had the break over the summer that he won't have wanted. Selfishly for us, he's had a break, and we know that he's been doing training by himself. We heard Pep say that it's in his hands, that it's up to him. Again, this is pre-season is a great opportunity for Jack because, again, like Calvin, Jack is a player that we all want to see do well.
We do, and look, he's got the bit between his teeth. You know, some people are saying that might affect him going into the season. If anything, it's made him more determined to come back and do well. You know, nobody was as disappointed with what happened in the summer than him. He was devastated and slightly disappointed with the season he had. But people forget he had a lot of injuries last season that disrupt it for him. But look, he's a top player. I still go back to the treble-winning season from that Christmas onwards consistently. He was our best player in all the big games, and keep him fit. And I'm sure we'll see Jack back to his best again, if not better, because he's got that real drive to go out there and prove people wrong now after what happened in the summer.
And congratulations to him as well. Of course, him and his partner announced that they are having a baby. Yeah. Fatherhood as well might be good for him.
Yeah, I think that when he got dropped for England, I feel like it could have gone one or two ways. You know, he could have maybe sulked a little bit, maybe felt all done to, but he didn't. He went away on holiday. He's come back. We've seen him training in private, and he looks sharp. And it's fantastic to see him like that. And at the end of the day, like Paul said, that treble-winning season, that running we had, he was outstanding. And I feel like he's got a point to prove. Yeah. And with Jack Grealish with a point to prove is a dangerous player, and I feel like it could be like getting a new signing. You know what I mean? It could be like getting a new signing, and he's got competition. Jeremy coming in, he's a different winger to him. You know, he'll have to take that on the chin. But listen, it can only be good for Manchester City to see him on this pre-season tour and training on his own pre-season. I think it's great.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more, and I think underestimated by people that didn't watch him every week during that treble-winning season. For the fans of other clubs that were just looking at stats, they have no idea how pivotal he was in that season. In terms of the number of players that will play tomorrow, Paul, are you expecting pretty much everyone to get a game, or are you expecting to sort of see an 11 that we might see throughout?
I would imagine it would be 45 minutes, would it be in the first game. You know, just get... you know, a lot of the first maybe two pre-season might be different because the first two pre-season games are Celtic and AC Milan. You just want to try and get minutes into the legs more than anything else. But I would be very, very surprised if anybody gets more than 45 minutes. So some people might even get half an hour with the size of the squad that's went out there. But tomorrow night it's all about starting off the pre-season well, and as Pep always says and said before, no injuries.
I know we talked before about how important this tour, how good this tour will be for some of the youth players. I feel like it's just seeing them now training. So seeing the young players training with Erling, with Calvin, with Jack, just even getting this opportunity for 2.5 weeks, it's going to be so brilliant for their development.
Unbelievable, like you say, it's probably the first time in a while we've took this many youth players on tour with us. But as you can see, they've been training in the academy here, in the campus for a while. Pep likes to mix it up, so a lot of them know each other. But it's just that time to shine. It's that time to go out there and you know, put a marker down.
I love watching these open training sessions. I always find them really, really fascinating. Paul, what are you, with your professional eye, what are you seeing? Is there anything that you're seeing that us non-professionals might not be?
The one thing that sticks out is whether it's Jack Grealish there or one of the young kids that's coming through, is how technically gifted they are. You know, if you look at the way they're passing it here, nobody's slowing the ball in. Every pass they're doing, they're wrapping it into them because they trust each other's touch and trust each other's technical ability with it as well. And obviously it's good to see there's the enthusiasm of them. You wouldn't expect anything less, but sometimes pre-season, when it's hot and you've had a hard training session, you can get a little bit leggy. But it's the technical ability and the pace that this is a training session. They've got a game tomorrow, and you look at the tempo and the pace they're playing at. So, it's great to watch. I love watching this.
Yeah, I'm the same. And yeah, the tempo is amazing considering that this is a training session, but it is so enjoyable to watch. Steve, in terms of the other players there that you know from the EDS from the last few seasons, who else there? Is there anyone that's standing out for you can tell us a bit about?
Ndala, the winger, good player, England youth player. He's always impressed me when I've watched him. And like we talked about before, Doyle, great player as well, got a bit of league experience. And Paul mentioned Perone, coming back from Las Palmas on loan. So he's got that experience, and I feel like you look at the intensity of this training session, Paul's just mentioned it, it's fantastic, and Pep's just been geeing them up on the touchline there. I mean, they're going to be so excited. Esbrand as well, he was on loan, I think, at Coventry, and then he went to Rennes. So there's a few players there with a point to prove, you know what I mean, who are going to get 2 solid weeks to impress the manager, and, you know, it all starts tomorrow against Celtic, good opposition, so we'll see.
For some of the players that have been out on loan as well to be back, Joleon mentioned Callum Doyle, obviously we know that he was at Coventry and he was part of the team that lost in the playoff final. That as to build you as a person would have been incredible, but then to go to Leicester and to be part of a team that won and won the league and went up as well, a completely different experience, I imagine, for him. Now to be back here, his sort of last 2 years, Paul, have been really fascinating for his development.
They've been great, and you think he's still only 20 years old. Yeah. You know, he's still a young boy, and I know he wasn't always in the team at Leicester last season, but when Leicester had a little wobble about January, February time, he came in and he had a big influence on the run that had to the end of the season. He was outstanding. He can play in a back three, as Leicester did a lot last season, or he can play as a 2 centre-halves, and good-looking Becky as well, who's been out on loan as well. So there's some talented boys in there with a lot. We keep saying they're youngsters. But also Esbrand, Steve mentioned before, these are a lot of players that have got a lot of football in them already, and you think they're all 19, 20, 21.
Translate, what do you think Pep's currently saying?
He's telling them to open his body out when the ball comes. Rather than, I think basically what he's saying is when the ball's coming to you, don't wait till it comes to take your touch to open your body. As it's coming into you, open your body out, so it makes it easier and it makes the ball go quicker.
I love that we just saw that, like, so up close. Look at the sweat on them as well. I don't know what the temperature is out there, but
I think it's been quite hot and humid by the looks of it.
Hot and humid, the sweat off them, and the tempo that they're playing at as well is incredible. We can see Jack there as well. Smiles all round as well. And I'm loving looking at the fans in the background as well, the Haaland shirts. The support that we're getting just at the training session. Again, here's Pep again. I get mesmerised watching Pep. What do you think he's saying now?
I think he's just on about moving the ball quicker, keeping it in the ground. I think because Luke there's just tried to, when he's got the ball, he's tried to play a lofted 20-yard pass over the top, and I think Pep's just saying just move the ball quicker but keep it in the ground, because that's what we do in possession football, and that's how we play.
There's Rico Lewis, of course. We haven't mentioned him yet, and I think he's really important in the conversation because we know that on the tour 2 years ago, he got taken on the tour perhaps as a bit of a surprise. The full squad was there. There was only a handful of youth players that went. Rico Lewis went and played and really stood out, and of course we know then in that season that's when Rico got his opportunity. So Rico is proof, Steve, that if you stand out on a pre-season tour about what that can mean for your career.
Yeah, and I think a lot of lads will know that. They're looking for that sort of impact that he did. Rico is another shining light that's come through. So, like I say, to be a young kid, to be involved in this training session and have Pep Guardiola come over to you, give you little pointers like that, these players are living the dream. And like you say, they've got to take this opportunity now with both hands. And definitely there's going to be some surprise packages coming out of this tour, I think.
Ooh, I like that. Who do you think, because you're good at predicting things, who do you think is going to be the surprise package?
I said it before, said it to Paul. Yep. Nico O'Reilly for me. I just got a little... I like him, and I'm rooting for him, and I just hope he can, after the season he had with the injuries, he can come here now and make a claim to get in that in and around the first team. It'd be great to see.
Paul, who's your surprise package going to be?
Whether it's a surprise or not, and I'm not just saying it because Pep mentioned him, I'm going James McAtee. I just think the 2 years that he's just had will do him the world of good, and that little boost he got from Pep mentioning him, and he's just such a good footballer. And he's versatile, he can play wide, he can play in the 10 role, he can play in midfield and wide either end. So, and now he's got that experience of 2 full seasons away at Sheffield United. I just think that this could be the time for him to step up and show everybody what he's all about.
I remember reading an interview that James McAtee did at the end of his first year at Sheffield United, where he talked about the difference in playing EDS football to then playing Championship football or Premier League football even, and the difference that he felt and how it took him a few months to settle into that pace. In terms of the games that, obviously Celtic tomorrow, What level do you think that's going to be at? How much of a challenge is that going to be for the players that perhaps don't have the sort of playing first-team football somewhere?
Yeah, they'll be up against international players. That you know, Celtic have just won the double last season. A team that's used to winning things, and a lot of them wouldn't have been in that situation. And the fact that Celtic are 3 or 4 games down the line within their pre-season as well. So look, all these boys that are here, they're athletes, they're super fit. But match fitness is completely different, and playing against a team that has got some quality and internationals in it, it'll be difficult for them. So it's not just physically but mentally, it's how they handle that, and trying to take what Pep's telling them here in the training sessions and all the training sessions I've had already into the game is the most difficult thing, because you can be the best player in training and do it. It's a different pressure doing it in a game.
Yeah, I think that's what was so fascinating about the interview that I read that James McAtee had done, when he was talking about essentially saying that even he hadn't realised the difference and how it did take him a few months to settle in. There's a shot of Pep as well.
With Nico O'Reilly, so he's talking to him. He just heard Big Steve's bigged him up, so he's having a chat with him.
He's massive as well, isn't he? I had to present him a trophy at the end of the season, and honestly, I know I'm small, but I felt about that size. He was like...
Look, Nico, Big Steve's just said you're going to be the big surprise of this tournament, so you need to step up here, lad.
I feel like you got Scottish champions against English champions as well. Added spice, plus the senior players in Celtic are not going to want a lot of young lads out fighting them on the pitch. Celtic's a massive club, they've got their own supporters there. They're going to come and it's going to be a tough test. I feel like Celtic are going to have players that want a point to prove, and our lads have got to be switched on tomorrow, I think, 100%.
I guess they're just having a water break just now, drinks break just now, because it is so hot out there. I mean, God, look at them, they're absolutely drenched in sweat. In terms of the sort of pre-season training, what's the benefit of them training somewhere hot? Does that help the preparation?
Yeah, it does. It does. Well, that helps them feel better mentally as well. When it's always nice to get a bit of sun in your back, especially when you're training. But yeah, the heat will bring their heart rate up a lot quicker than what it would normally do if it wasn't in the hotter climate as well. And it tests you. It tests you, because pre-season's tough. I know people say it's different now, but it is tough, and it's about your mental strength, about getting through it, about getting yourself in the best physical condition you can. And look, every single one of them there, it's completely different now, Natalie. You know, we used to pre-season training used to be to get you fit. Now these guys have to be fit for pre-season. You know, they've got the programmes all through the summer. The summers are shorter. We used to get 6-7 weeks off sometimes. You know, these guys, some of them were getting 3 weeks, 4 weeks, 5 weeks. So, and within that 3, 4, 5 weeks, they probably had 2 weeks off before they've had to do the pre-season plan that they get sent to them. So, fitness-wise, it shouldn't be a problem. But it's just when you get a bit tired, the first thing that goes is your concentration. So it's keeping that mentality strong.
Yeah, and I guess the concentration is always so many fans sort of screaming and shouting their names as well, just in a training session. That's going to be great for them. We know that Kovacic and Gvardiol will join them in New York off the back of, obviously, really disappointing for Croatia to have gone out in the group stage. I was hoping that they were going to get out of that group. How is it going to be for them to come off the back of their holidays straight into a group that have already been together for probably 10 days at that point?
Do you know what? They'll probably be looking forward to it. You know, they used to, at the end of the seasons, in the first couple of weeks of the close season, they used to be buzzing. But after a couple of weeks, you want to get back. You want to come back and play football. You want to go back in and see your mates who you've spent 10 months of the year with. You want to get that camaraderie going as well, and you want to get it as soon as you can. So, look, no doubt they both would have had a good break. They both would have been super disappointed about what happened for Croatia, because that was a big shot, not getting out the group. And sometimes that disappointment, the best way to bounce back is to get back into your football club as quick as you can. And so I'm sure they'll be looking forward to it.
Yeah, absolutely, and we'll be looking forward to seeing them on Saturday as well. But of course, we've got Celtic before that, so it's Celtic tomorrow. So it's 12:30 p.m. kickoff UK time. Matchday Live will be here with you from about 11:20, 11:30 p.m. It's Kel who will be joined by Kit Simons and by Steve Howie as well, and that will be the first pre-season game of the new season. It feels like yesterday. It feels like yesterday we were celebrating the Premier League. Steve, are you daring to talk about 5 yet? So are we there yet, or would you like to see a few pre-season games?
Listen, I'm always confident going into a season with Pep as manager. You know what I mean? We've just got to get in there. We know what to do. The rest of the country He's chasing us, you know what I mean? Best manager in the world. He knows what he's doing. He looked fresh tonight. Let's just go there and start off and see how we go. But I'm ready for another long season, and hopefully, 5 in a row would be unbelievable.
And hopefully a season that takes us all the way to, is it the 1st of May? The 1st of June even? The 1st of June maybe? Certainly towards the end of May. But are you already looking forward to the new season, Paul?
I can't wait. I can't wait. 5 in a row is going to be a big ask, but nobody had ever done 4 in a row before. So, and people were saying we couldn't do it after winning the treble, the hangover from that and everything else. But I just look at the squad we've got, say it all the time. I know other teams are strengthened. We might strengthen, we might not. But I just think we're still ahead of everybody else. So I don't see why we can't do it.
Oh, I'm so excited for the new season already. I cannot wait for the friendly tomorrow night as City take on Celtic. So thank you so much for joining us on PitchSide Live this evening. We'll be doing this show 3 more of them, so the day before every friendly, where we'll show you the press conferences, and of course we'll show you the live training session with FG, Shaun Wright-Phillips and Joleon Lescott live to tell us what is going on as well. So Paul, thank you so much for being here. Big Steve, thank you so much for being here as always, and thank you all for joining us on PitchSide Live ahead of the new season, where hopefully City are going to go for 5 in a row. So Matchday Live will see you tomorrow.
Your name, begging for pictures.
I'm so famous. So famous.